Just a reminder to vote in this week's Locals poll, where you decide what deck I take to Locals every single week. Without any further ado, I hope you enjoyed the video. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and for today we have the profile for the deck we brought to Locals this week, being Nekroz. I think I overcooked, because I had some ideas, want to try them out. They did not really work in my favor, so unfortunately it's back to the drawing board, but you know, you live and you learn. So here's what it looks like on paper, then we'll get to the card by card. Alright, so starting off with our monsters, or our ritual monsters rather. First ones we're going to talk about are kind of our big bosses, being one a Red Bear and one Metaltron. Metaltron is basically an SP Little Knight, except the opponent's monster is banished permanently. And then a Red Bear is a tribute one to negate and banish. So those are kind of our big bosses there. Next, 2 copies of Nekroz of Trishula. This one, it serves 2 purposes. Its in-hand effect lets you negate a targeting effect, and then when it's ritual summon, you get to banish a card from your opponent's hand, field, and grave. Next, 3 Brionac. This one is mainly used for its in-hand effect, which is a monster searcher. Next ones we're going to talk about together, being 1 Catastor and 3 Unicorn. So these are your extra deck haters. And basically one of my favorite things to do is to use Kaleidoscope, sending a level 9 monster to get both of these together at the same time, because Unicorn negates extra deck monsters' effects, and then Catastor, when they battle an extra deck monster, it actually destroys it without applying damage calculation. So even if your opponent, say, just makes like a rank 8 Xyz and just tries to beat over, then the rank 8 dies. So I really like using that one just kind of as a tech choice, I guess you could say. Next, 2 Colossalus. This one, you can pitch it to search a ritual spell. Might cut this one down a little bit, since some of your other cards can also search the ritual spells. Next, moving on to the regular main deck monsters, we got 3 copies of Advanced Swordsman of the Nekroz. When he's summoned, you can special summon a Nekroz monster from your deck, and then when he's tributed, you can recycle some of your banished Nekroz cards. The recycle effect is once per duel, though. Next, 3 copies of Amelia, Dance Priestess of the Nekroz. So basically, oh, and also both of these have an effect where you can use them for the entire tribute for a ritual summon. And this one, it can special summon itself if you have a warrior Nekroz monster on your field or in your grave. And then when it's summoned, you get to search for either a ritual monster or a ritual spell. So it's a searchable, special summonable Manju, basically. Next, 3 copies of Shuret. I might cut this one down as well, because basically he can just be used as the entire tribute, and then when he's tributed, you can search a warrior type Nekroz ritual monster. Next, moving on to our ritual spells. First one we have is 2 copies of Nekroz Kaleidoscope. This one, you can use a monster from your extra deck to summon any number of Nekroz rituals from your hand. So this way we can use a level 9 to get, you know, the level 5 and the level 4 on the field. Then all of the old Nekroz ritual spells, if you have no monsters on your field, you can banish this and a Nekroz monster from your grave in order to add a Nekroz spell. We're currently on 1 cycle and 1 mirror. I think I might bump cycle up to 2, because being able to recycle a ritual from the graveyard is nice. Mirror is just a standard ritual spell, except you can also banish monsters from your grave, so that flexibility is kind of nice. Next, 3 copies of the new Nekroz Divine Mirror. I am having to substitute one of them, though, because the guy that was going to give me my third one was unable to come, so I was not able to get that, unfortunately. But so basically this is a quick play ritual spell, and you can also just banish it to search for a Nekroz spell. But for this one, you don't actually have to have no monsters on your field. You can use the banish effect immediately, so that's really nice. 2 copies of Preparation of Rites. I'll probably bump this up to 3 just to have even more searching power, and then recyclability with things like the recycling the ritual spells. 2 copies of Ritual Cage. I wanted to try this out because it would prevent my opponent's monsters from targeting my ritual monsters with their effects, but unfortunately this card did not really do anything. So this one's probably going to get cut, unfortunately. Next, 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. I wanted to try to use this just to maximize consistency, you know, just being able to draw 2. But unfortunately, with now only having 1 copy of Herald in the extra deck, Extravagance is a little risky. So I might have to pivot back to Prosperity and then have some other cards. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. And then rounding out the main deck, we got 1 copy of Terraforming and 3 copies of Secret Village of the Spellcasters. So basically the goal is to try to turbo out Unicore as quickly as possible, which is a spellcaster, and then try to set this up with it, so that way it's even more oppressive for the opponent. It did not really work out in our favor, unfortunately. 2 out of the 3 decks that we faced ended up having a lot of spellcasters in the deck, so this card was more or less useless. So I'm probably going to relegate this to the side deck and then bring some other stuff into the main. Gonna quickly go through the extra deck. This is mainly just Extrav, fodder, and then stuff for Kaleidoscope. For the most part, there is a side deck card that deals with it, but we'll get to that later. 2 copies of this Link guy. He's basically just an Ultimate Slayer target. That's one of the cards in the side deck. 1 Herald of the Arclight because of the new ban list. Then 3 copies of the original Trishula. This is to use with Kaleidoscope to get Unicore plus Cataster. 1 copy of Intis. This doubles as both a level 4 for Kaleidoscope if we're going second, and then it also serves as an Ultimate Slayer target. Same thing with Garua if we want to summon Brionac. It also, you know, has that. And then as an Ultimate Slayer target, it also draws a card. Then also continuing with that trend with Ultimate Slayer, we've got Myriologic Aggregator. So this, it can bounce an XZs, and then we, of course, can negate a card on the field. Fun fact, I've actually had this in there for like a long time. So it was before the price spike, because I know it went way up during the format where Ryziel was really dominant, so that was interesting. Next, moving on to the side deck. This is one of those decks where I actually have a fully constructed side deck to go with it. Starting off, I do have 1 Nekroz of Sophia. Basically, this is just if we can do it. I might actually bring this into the main, because I originally had it in the main, but then took it out for the Secret Village of the Spellcasters package. So I might put this back in just as kind of a way to try to turn skip the opponent. Maybe I can find a way to do that consistently. Next, cards for when we opt to go first. We got 3 copies of Simul Archfiends. This is basically D-Barrier at home, so that way we can try to stop swarming strategies, and this one also does hit links, notably. In addition to that, we also have 3 copies of Dimensional Barrier. This, of course, is meant to try to help stun out our opponent, so that way they can't beat over our guys. And then cards for going second. We've got the newly unlimited Lightning Storm. So this, it's good for going second. We can either wipe out our opponent's monsters or back row. And then the aforementioned Ultimate Slayer. So with this, our opponent cannot activate monster effects in response to this card's activation. We send a monster from our extra to the grave to target a monster of the same type, or a monster of the same card type, rather. So, like fusion, synchro, yada yada. And then bounce it into the deck, or bounce it back into the extra deck. And notably, this actually is not once per turn. And finally, rounding out the side deck, we got 2 copies of Extra Foolish Burial. We pay half our life to send a monster from our extra deck to the grave. This is just another way to dump things like Herald or Entis, Garua, etc. So yeah, that's it for the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, I'm going back to the drawing board on this one, because I definitely think there's a better way to do it. Like I said, I think citing the Secret Village will actually help a lot, rather than trying to main it and then, maybe trying to do Sophia's turn skip effect would be really nice too. But yeah, so it's back to the drawing board. But let me know what you guys think down below. Like, subscribe, vote on the locals poll, that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time.